Welcome to RG News. Today we're going to discuss the top T10 AI news stories of July 24, 2025. In the world of AI and IT, innovation isn't just happening, it's exploding. It feels like this huge wave of information, almost impossible to keep up with, right? To figure out what actually matters.
Exactly. And that's kind of our mission here with this deep dive, to be your compass, cut through that noise and really pinpoint the powerful currents shaping our digital future. We're tracking like 5 big trends, this whole era of agents regulation that's actually biting the way hardware and software are getting closer, the ethical side of things always, and quantum moving from theory to, actual use.
Okay, great. Let's see how today's news fits in.
Let's do it.
So first up, NVIDIA. They've unveiled Blackwell Ultra. Why is this chip such a big deal? The agentic AI race. What does that really mean here?
Right. So this isn't just, a faster chip. It's more like NVIDIA is building the actual factories for this next wave of AI, these more autonomous AIs. The B300 chip itself. Yeah, it's got a huge 50% performance bump. We're talking 15 petaflops FP4, 288 gigs of HBM3 memory. Massive specs.
Okay.
But the key thing really is the GB300 NVL72 system. They call it an AI factory. It's designed specifically to power this agentic AI.
So AI that doesn't just help you, but kind of does things on its own.
Precisely. AIs that can tackle complex goals autonomously. Think processing, like 1,000 tokens a second for reasoning tasks. It really cements the U.S. lead here, but there are big questions too. Energy use, centralization.
That kind of power is, yeah.
Wow.
But you mentioned regulation. What happened when the rule makers step in?
Well, we just saw that happen. A real thunderclap in Brussels today. The EU AI Act. It's not just theory anymore. They've launched their first major investigation.
Into what?
They're looking formally into a system called higher right AI. It's used for recruitment, so it falls into the high-risk category. The main issues are what you'd expect. Lack of transparency, potential for bias, not enough human oversight.
And the consequences.
Pretty severe. We're talking fines up to 15 million euros or, get this, 3% of global turnover, whichever's higher. This is the Brussels effect in action. Basically, EU standards often become the global benchmark because companies want access to that market. So expect changes worldwide.
Right, the Brussels effect. Okay. So while the regulators are stepping up, what are the tech giants like Microsoft doing, pushing ahead with AI in our jobs?
Oh, absolutely pushing ahead. That's a great point. Microsoft just launched what they're calling an army of agents. The idea is to really change office work. We're moving past Copilot, helping you, to agent doing things for you. They've got new tools like Researcher for autonomous research and Analyst, like a virtual data scientist.
There's an army of agents.
Yeah, and Copilot Studio lets you build your own custom agents now and even orchestrate multiple agents working together. There's an agent feed, too, so humans can still govern them. It really shifts the manager's role, doesn't it? You become more like an orchestrator of this hybrid human-AI team. Your digital colleagues get their own digital colleagues.
That's quite a shift. Speaking of big changes, how's AI helping with, say, major health problems, like superbugs?
Now this is genuinely exciting news. A real beacon of hope. Google DeepMind's AlphaFold 3. It's helped discover a completely new class of antibiotics.
Wow.
They used AlphaFold 3, which is incredibly good at predicting protein structures to model proteins from nasty bacteria. Then they screened millions of potential drug compounds against these models, and it worked. They found something they call Abosin AI. It specifically targets a really dangerous superbug, Acinetobacter baumannii. The speed is just revolutionary. We're talking months instead of maybe a decade.
Okay.
It really shows AI acting like a computational microscope.
Yeah.
Huge potential for healthcare.
That's amazing. Incredible innovation.
Yeah.
But you hear a lot about U.S. and maybe Chinese dominance. Can Europe compete? Can it find its own way in AI?
Good question. And yes, it seems Europe is trying to carve out its path. Look at Magistral. This is basically Europe planting its flag. It's a collaboration between Mistral AI, a big European player, and CNRS, the French research institution. They've launched Magistral 7B Instruct.
And what makes it different?
It's an open source model focused on complex reasoning, like chain of thought processes. It's trained on high quality scientific data, and crucially, it uses an Apache 2.0 license with European stipulations. So it's positioned as this strategic third way, trying to be competitive, but also transparent and sovereign. It's Europe's play against the closed giant models, focusing on openness.
Interesting. So from complex reasoning to well, creativity. What's happening with AI and things like video?
Google's making waves there too. They just launched Veo 3. It's a big step up in AI video generation because it now includes native sound.
Native sound, so not just visuals.
Right, you give it a text prompt, say, a detective walking in the rain at night, and Veo 3 can generate the video with synchronized dialogue, sound effects, maybe even background music, all from the text.
Okay, that's pretty powerful.
And they're integrating the previous version, Veo 2, into YouTube Shorts. There's a photo-to-video feature that really brings this kind of creation to the masses. It's the start of this sin-prompting era.
But the risks too, right? Deep fakes?
Absolutely. Google says they're building in safeguards, watermarks, filters, but yeah, it's that dual use potential. Amazing creative tool, but also risky.
Right. And speaking of creating new realities, what about virtual reality? What's Meta up to?
Meta's doing something pretty cool with VR accessibility. They call it immersive scenes. It's a feature on their Quest 3 headset. Basically, you take a normal 2D photo, just a regular picture, and the AI can turn it into a 3D environment that you can actually walk around in.
Wait, really? Step inside a photo?
Yeah. The AI generates panoramic views, figures out the depth, uses fancy rendering like Gaussian splats, and boom, you're exploring your photo in VR. It makes creating VR content way easier. The metaverse becomes less of a destination someone else built and more of a personal creation tool. You can make your own little worlds.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Okay, all this tech, this creative power, but what's the bottom line for us, for jobs, how we work?
Yeah, the crucial question. And there's an OECD report out that's, well, it's quite alarming, actually. It shows a really subtle but significant shift. The good news, maybe, is no mass unemployment yet. But generative AI is introducing what they call an AI collaboration tax.
A tax?
Yeah, basically all the new, often kind of invisible tasks you need to do to work with the AI effectively. Prompting, checking, editing the AI's output adds up. And it's creating a widening skills gap. Less than 30% of the workforce feels adequately trained for this. So jobs are polarizing. Reskilling isn't just a good idea, it's becoming urgent. For you, for everyone. It's less about replacement, more about adaptation.
That makes sense. An adaptation challenge. Okay, so while AI reshapes the present, what about the next frontier? Quantum computing. Is that finally becoming useful?
It seems like we're hitting a real milestone there. IBM announced a big step, moving from just talking about quantum supremacy being faster in theory to actual quantum utility, real-world use.
What did they do?
They ran a successful industrial-scale quantum simulation for a pharmaceutical company, Roche. They modeled a complex molecular interaction for drug design, something that classical supercomputers really struggle with. They used their 133-qubit Heron processor, but in a hybrid way, quantum working alongside classical computers. It provided crucial insights that could save months of lab work. So while it's still niche, it signals the dawn of commercial quantum value. It's starting to deliver.
Okay, quantum is starting to deliver. But as all these powerful tools advance, we still have these underlying problems, don't we? Like bias.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the last and maybe most sobering piece of news, a new study from Stanford and UNESCO. It gives a pretty alarming conclusion about AI image generators.
Ooh, what do they find?
They looked at the big models, Midjourney V7, DLE4, Stable Diffusion 3.0, and found they still consistently reproduce gender and racial stereotypes. In jobs, doctor, nurse, but also in abstract concepts. And what's worrying is that the safety features, the guardrails, are often easy to get around. Sometimes the biases even get amplified.
It's not getting fixed easily.
Doesn't look like it. The risk is creating this kind of biased synthetic reality online, which could just reinforce prejudice in the real world. It's a huge ethical headache for the companies building these things and for all of us, really.
Yeah, a lot to think about there. These 10 stories,
Yeah.
they really paint a picture of AI's power, but also its challenges, don't they?
They really do. You can see those 4 key fault lines we talked about earlier playing out. First, there's this immense concentrated power. NVIDIA, AlphaFold, Veo, Meta clashing with the need for more democratic, sustainable ways forward.
Right.
Second, you see regulation getting real teeth with the EU AI Act. That's driving demand for trustworthy AI, which is where projects like Mistral come in. Third, the world of work is changing. Microsoft's agents, that OECD report, bridging that AI collaboration skill gap is critical for your future work. And finally, you see tech as a mirror. It reflects and amplifies us the good, like AlphaFold saving lives, and the bad, like those persistent biases in images. And tools like Veo present these tricky ethical choices.
It's clear the future isn't something we just watch happen. It feels like something we're actively building, maybe one prompt, one interaction at a time.
Yeah.
Understanding this stuff feels more important than ever. Join us tomorrow on RG News for the day's AI news. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell.